Welcome back, Summoners, from all around the world to the newest edition of our Top 5 Plays series on the Potato Monster channel. This episode just so happens to feature quite a bit of high-elo plays, so let's get this rolling with our first play from Burning Snow 96 on TF. Things are neck and neck, but TF is trying to pull off a cheeky X-Spec A while his team holds mid. The enemy team are onto his tricks and Wukong's already waiting at their nexus, but he goes for it anyways and Wukong springs into action. He gets jumped on while looking for the gold card, but while this is happening, his team is getting rocked, so he needs to pull this off. He kites around the nexus while using Lich Bane until he needs to flash, but then lead speeds in and he just barely finishes it off right before meeting certain death. That was so insanely close, so let's check it out again because that could have gone horribly wrong with one single misstep. Coming in at our number 4 spot, we have a Barcode Challenger player stomping the enemy team on Draven while having only 3 kills and 2 deaths. We see the enemy Lee Sin coming for a flank because they're pretty pushed up and Thresh gets the fight started, so Draven backs up. Lee Sin moves in for a kick, but a beautiful E from Draven denies them from bursting him as he turns with his ult on Thresh for a quick kill before flashing away from the culling. He kites back while attacking Lee Sin, getting the double as they both turn for Lucian, but Diana is flanking from the river to try and clean up. He has no choice but to press forward, and now Irelia is also teleporting in, so he continues on and manages to pop Lucian with a huge auto. They want this shutdown goal from Draven, so he keeps good spacing, and then out of nowhere Diana flashes forward, but a quick reaction gets him the quad. Irelia goes for the kill, but he shuts down her attempt at his life for the pentakill and ace for the team. Our number 3 play comes from another challenger level game with Pansar Dragon on Evelynn. This guy creates a lot of great content, so I'll annotate to his YouTube channel if you want to check it out when the video ends. He jumps on the enemy town, but the guy slowly makes his way over to the wall, flashing over to more players on blue team. Evelynn falls through with her ult and they pick up the kill, but now we see how outnumbered they are and Diana is coming from the river to cut them off. He decides to go for Ezreal, slowing him with Rylai's, and despite the flash, the slow allows Tristana to walk in range for the quick kill, but then Evelynn gets left behind. The enemy team continue to chase and there's a pink ward in the brush, so by the time he realizes that, he knows he can't escape anymore and has to turn to fight. Shen ults and he pops Nidalee, queuing for the slow while kiting around Diana, and then Shen taunts her away, but look at how much damage Evelynn gets on Janna, knowing the limits so well, and then he dodges Crescent Strike as his team cleans up Diana. Great knowledge of limits and teamwork allows this turnaround to happen when things were looking grim. Landing in at second place, we have I'm Not Creative on Orianna with a last-ditch effort to win the game. Blue team's Blitzcrank disconnected a while back, so they've been trying their hardest to 4v5 with strong team fighting. They move into siege to tier 3 mid, but the enemy Jax ends up coming in from the side with a flash engage, forcing the Zhonya's. Her team gets wombo, but then a massive 5-man shockwave goes off into Sion and Riven ult to turn the team fight convincingly in blue team's favor. With a 5-for-1, they're able to take the inhib, and what a beautiful counter engage that was, somehow turning this basically into 3v5 because Jinx was caught out at the start. Thanks to the Zhonya's from Orianna, she's able to reverse wombo them, even being a man down. And for number 1 pro play for this week, we have Rhino Chaos on Azir, who comes up huge in a fight at Baron. The enemy team are zoning them away from the pit, but they need to do something because they're taking Baron down fast and 2 members of blue team are dead. Riven works her way in and Azir finds an angle to poke with the soldiers while respecting their front line. The enemy team are turning on Riven, but Azir starts cleaving with the soldiers, flying in and pushing them back with an amazing wall as he shreds them and steps back to dodge Ahri's orb before returning to attack. He finishes off Lucian for the quad, but then Ahri gets pushed away by Tristana, so he tries to cut her off, but she's not there, so he decides to try and find out where she's recalling. Luckily for him, his hunch is right and she's hiding here, but he checks first and then she goes all in, but a great flash dodges the Q and gets him the pentakill, basically 1v5. And for a bonus kill of the week, we have TPC Gragas on Thresh, who decides to take a wild ride with the enemy Sion, who submitted the play. As this plays out, I wanted to remind everyone that we have some sick new t-shirts and hoodies available in the description below, so go check it out. I also wanted to give a shout out to our sponsor Skillcap.com for all the support they give our channel. They have some really big things in the works that I can't talk too much about yet, but for those who've never heard of the site, they're basically your all-in-one service to learn anything about League you want to improve on. All their guides are made by high-elo players at the top of the ladder, and it's heavily influenced by research, so it's always on point with how and what they teach. An example would be their methodical ways of teaching specific mechanics through practice regiments. They slowly layer one thing after another, ensuring you learn the basics before moving on to the advanced, and anyone can do this because of the way it's taught. It's super noob friendly and it's easy to understand, so rather than trying to digest a wall of text like in most guides out there, you go one step at a time, and this is where the research they did on their own website really shines through. They pay so much attention to their users that the way they teach is unlike any other site I've used, so if you're stuck at a certain elo or are looking to break a plateau in your play, I'd highly recommend giving it a shot for even just a month to see what the site has to offer you. Thanks for watching everyone, and good luck out there in the Rift, especially you folks out there on the West Coast. Rip Elo.